Hello, future people. Welcome to Getting Tabled. I'm Jason the Bruce, and today we're going to be checking out some Bakemono from GCT Studios so we can compare the old sculpts with the new ones. You may be wondering why I'm looking at older sculpts. It's quite simple. Quite a number of times while we were doing our series, Ben and I made comments about how much these sculpts have improved. I deliberately went out of my way to buy some of the older sculpts that are still available, so that I can actually show them a little bit on camera, just to get at why we're making these comments. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying these are bad. In fact, pictures-wise, they look really nice. They're just very, very different. There are some of the older sculpts that really don't hold up as well compared to the newer stuff. I think these are okay, honestly. Plus, the benefit of this is it means that I can have two of certain characters and they will actually look different. That's a big benefit to me. So, let's get down. Let's have a look. And then I'll pull out the characters so we can compare them. All right, so fairly standard packaging. And you may notice that there's no actual cards in this. So I won't be going through the actual Bakemono cards in this because they aren't there. But I have covered these in previous videos. I will try to link them in up here. So, 3 bodies. They all look similar-ish. They are different, but they are very similar. As you can see, the detail on these are actually quite nice. It's genuinely really nice. Posing-wise, they are different. As much as they are similar, they are different. Probably based off the same sculpt, I would say. And then just slightly proportioned up a little bit. We've got our straw hat. I actually think this might actually be, sculpt-wise, I actually think this might be a little bit better than some of the modern ones. It's quite nice. And then we're going into our heads. They tend to have, they have more of a serious look rather than the silly look that the modern ones do. And because I've come to love the silly ones so much, these don't look the same. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, so the heads are, you can kind of build these any way you want to some extent. Whereas the modern ones are one piece. So the only thing you can really do if you want to make them look different is bend them. And finally, we have our Mr. Shouty face, because every modelling kit needs to have a Mr. Shouting face. You get the same connection there on all 3 of them. One of our lovely Bakemono are going to have this wonderful staff. And that will go something like that. So we can go stabby, stabby, stab. Another one is going to have this lovely bow. Which again is quite nice. There is our quiver for the bow. Let's put those together. We've got a random fist here. No, you'll have to. You're going to have to find which arms go with what piece. I think is what you're going to have to do. Oh, nope. There we go. So that arrow is the one that goes with our archer. Is very clearly in the middle of restringing. Not restringing. Reloading. So they go together. We also have these two that go together, two sickles. We've got this lovely club. And then you'll start to notice that we have all these extra arms. And basically what that means is that you can build multiple different poses out of this. So, for someone that may have recently bought multiples of certain models, I'm not pointing at anybody in particular, but I'm talking about this guy. I didn't have to do that, but that's okay. I don't actually mind that. We have a ponytail here for one of the heads. I did not actually notice that, but it's for this head. There is a little plug in the back, which is where that plugs into. And then obviously you could position this however you'd like to suit the pose that he's in. I quite like that. We also have another style of hairpiece. So you could use either of these so that the heads are completely different. I like this. All right, I'm going to build these up now, and I'll bring in the old models, and that way we can have a look at how they compare. Getting Tabled has announced their very first giveaway. This Shaltari fleet was purchased with my own money for this express purpose. In order to enter the competition, you need to join us on Patreon. For every month of support, which is only $2 a month, you gain one entry into the competition between now and the recording on April 2nd, 2023, which is the 4-year anniversary of our podcast. You will get the Shaltari Dreadnought, the Shaltari Starter Fleet, the Shaltari Frigate Box, and the Shaltari Cruiser Box. This will all go out to one person. We will be covering it. Please understand that in order to enter the competition, you cannot live in a country where it's illegal to win prizes. There are countries out there that fall under this banner, and it's not something that we can control. This has all been purchased with my own money. None of this is funded. None of this is sponsored. I have purchased all of this with the express purpose of thanking one particular person that supports us on Patreon. That person will be drawn at random on the recording that we do on April 2nd, 2023. If you join us on Patreon, one of the things that you can do is listen to our recordings live as they're done through the Discord. Please consider supporting us. It's only $2 a month. We would really, really appreciate your time. So, coming up first, we have these guys. This is our current model. This is a one-piece model. This comes in the starter set that you can buy for the Bakemono. This has just been painted up using speed paint. I'm going to talk more about that in a video coming up very soon. I've been kind of testing it out quite a bit. And this is the one that I built from the kit that I've received. So, honestly, truth be told, these models are much better than I thought they were. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a better model. like significantly. It's a significantly better sculpt. But this is nowhere near as bad as people have been making it out to be. And I include myself in that. I never hated this at all. Like, I'm not saying that I did. But this is much better a sculpt than I was expecting it to be. The arms are completely posable. The head's completely posable. I mean, you can have these two models. You can see that they're the same thing. But thankfully, because of the way that you can position it, you can make them look so that they're not going to get confused. It's an absolute delight. Coming up next, we have these guys. So this is our current model. This is the one-piece model that comes in the starter set. This is certainly one of them that would be harder to, I mean, if you wanted to try and customize this, that's all connected to his ear and his hand, and so you can't really reposition this without completely rebuilding it. It's one of the reasons why I decided to buy the older ones. I went for the longer of the ponytails in my case. Doesn't quite line up as well in this particular case, honestly. Like, you can rotate it around a little bit, but it doesn't really seem to fit seamlessly. So you probably want to use a bit of green stuff to smooth that out a little bit, maybe. It didn't seem to matter how I posed it. It just seemed to be that way all the time. Otherwise, I think the head on this one in particular is a little bit of a downfall. Everything else is absolutely beautiful. And again, I'm just saying what I am about the head because I'm trying to be critical. This is an older model. I'm not expecting it to hold up against the newer model. But again, it's nowhere near as bad as people say they are. This is the one-piece model that comes in the starter. This is our current one. So you can see he's pulling his arrow out. He's got his arrow there. And then in the old one, he's already got his arrow out. He's getting ready to shoot it. So on and so forth. Now, one thing I will note. The heads that I received, this particular head does not appear on the images on the website. And one of the images is of a masked face that doesn't appear in the kit that I have. So there appears to be either an update that's happened to this kit at some point that's not pictured, or I'm missing a head. I'm not 100% sure what that is, or the heads are somewhat random. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but I just thought it was worth noting. But again, like, I actually think this might be my favorite of them. I quite like the beard, honestly. That might be my favorite of the three that came in the set. It's much, much nicer than it has any right to be. Again, I'm not expecting these models to hold up to the new ones. This one is a better sculpt than this is. But it's nowhere near as bad as I was expecting it to be. And it looks really nice. So there we are with the Bakemono set. Like I said, these are older sculpts. I'm not expecting these to hold up against the newer stuff that GCT are offering. But at the same time, they are much, much better than I thought they would be. And it's a really good way to kind of reiterate, things don't have to be the newest on the market for them to be good. You can get some value out of the older stuff. And honestly, whether it's GCT, whether it's some of the Games Workshop older sculpts, I'm not just talking from a nostalgic point of view. I have no nostalgic for these old models. I was expecting these models to be kind of not in a bad way. I didn't expect them to be as nice as they was because they're older. These are evidence that you should be paying attention to the older stuff that's out there, not just the newer stuff. You can get some really good value out there, and it's definitely worth your time having a look at everything that's on the market. You've made it through to the end of another video. Your next mission is to hit subscribe and comment down below. If you'd like to reach out to the team, consider doing that, gettingtabled@gmail.com. Consider subscribing to our Patreon. For only $2 a month, you get early access to almost every single video that we do. Our most active social media is facebook.com/gettingtabled. It's where you'll find everything first. There's also a Discord. There's an invite on screen right now. If you type that in, it'll give you instant access. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at gettingtabled. It's not the most active, but it's something we're trying to use more all the time. Come and check out Jason the Bruce at Twitch. He does both video game and hobby content. And of course, without question, play more games.